Have you ever tried working with tarot cards, but instead of getting clarity and answers, instead you just feel stuck? I've totally been in your shoes. I'm Ashley Leavy of the Love and Light School, and in this video, I'm going to teach you a super simple step-by-step technique for learning some of the major arcana cards in the tarot. So we're going to focus on the 22 major arcana cards and how to learn more about their energies and symbolism and properties using crystals. Tarot cards are a really popular method of divination that are often used for receiving guidance and wisdom from the universe. But they can feel a little bit intimidating to a beginner, and if I'm being really honest, they can feel intimidating even after you've been working with them for quite some time. I mean, in a tarot card deck, there are 78 cards. And I hear all the time from my students, one of their biggest obstacles to really digging into the tarot and uncovering its deeper wisdom is, how will I ever learn the meanings of all those cards? So each tarot card deck, as I mentioned, has a really structured order to it. So it has 78 cards in total, 22 of which are the major arcana that we're going to talk about today. But it can feel really daunting when you think about trying to memorize the meaning and symbolism of all those cards. I mean, even in one of my favorite decks, which is the Light Seers Tarot, look how thick that box is. That is a lot of cards, and trying to think about how you're going to memorize all those is really overwhelming, and in fact it can keep you from moving forward with your tarot practice. And this is what happened to me for many years, and in fact even while I was doing readings for myself and other people, I often just stuck with oracle cards because they felt more within my safe zone. They didn't feel so intimidating, right? Tarot has like this really deep history, and each card has kind of an archetypal energy associated with it. So let's start by breaking down the deck. Like I said, there's the major arcana, which consists of 22 cards, and the minor arcana, which are the remaining 56 cards. So we're going to look at the minor arcana and their meanings in a future video, but in this video, we're going to focus on just the 22 major arcana, sometimes known as the trump cards. So these cards are often seen as bigger than us. They represent life lessons, things that we have to learn about ourselves, and they carry the most weight of all the cards in the deck. They can represent change that we have to make in our lives, or things relating to our soul path and decisions that we need to make. Basically, they're really powerful cards that show us the archetypes that we face in life and that we sometimes embody. Now, crystals can be used to add even more context to your tarot readings, and in fact, they can also be used to discover more about the cards themselves. So I'm going to show you my really simple process for working with crystals to uncover the deeper meaning and wisdom of the major arcana. So to do this, you'll need a deck of tarot cards. Any deck is fine. Just work with one that you feel really drawn to. Second, you'll need a pouch of mixed crystals. I personally recommend having them all be tumbled, but this is up to you. If you'd rather work with rough stones, that's just fine. But what's important here is that you have anywhere from 10 to 20 stones on average in a pouch or a box, or something that will kind of hide them from view until you're ready to select them at random. You might also want to have a journal and a pen or pencil nearby for taking some notes. So to get started, you're going to grab your tarot card deck and you're going to separate out the major arcana cards. These are the cards that are numbered 0 through 21. Then, after you've separated out those cards, I want you to look at them, spread them all out in front of you and look through them and see if there's just one that you'd really like to explore in depth, that you really want to get to know and understand the meaning of and how it really relates to your life. Place this card in front of you on your altar or on the floor or a table in your sacred space, and then take a moment to look at the card in detail. And as you're doing this, scanning the card from top to bottom, I want you to notice anything you can about its symbolism, its imagery, the colors used, what's happening in the card, what's being portrayed. and just allow any thoughts that come into your mind about the energy and meaning of this card to just enter and kind of sit with you for a minute. Let them flow through without any judgment, without second guessing yourself. Just let your intuition kind of speak to you about what some of the symbols and energies that are represented might mean. If you want to take a moment to jot down a few notes here, that's just fine. But when you're ready, I want you to reach for your bag of tumbled stones. And remember, you'll probably want about 10 to 20 to give some good variety to your exploration of each of the cards that you'll be working with. Hold the bag in cupped hands above the tarot card and ask that the stones or that the universe or spirit help provide you with more clarity about the meaning of this card, the deeper wisdom and hidden knowledge in this card. Then I want you to pull 3 stones from the bag and place them beneath the card. 1 on the left, 1 in the center, and 1 on the right. As you're pulling each stone, I want you to ask yourself a very specific question. So as you draw the first stone from the bag, the one that you're placing on the left, ask yourself, how does the archetypal energy of this card relate to my body and to the physical realm? Look at the stone you've pulled, hold it in your hands, and think about how the stone relates to the meaning of the card. Now, additionally, you might wish to close your eyes and kind of tune into the energy of the stone for some additional support and guidance, a kind of mini meditation with your crystal on the energy as it relates to the card, thinking about your physical body and the physical realm. When you draw the next stone, the one that you're going to place in the center, you'll ask, how does the archetypal energy of this card relate to my mind or emotions and to the mental or emotional realm? Then you'll think about that, go through that same mini meditation, and as you get to the final stone, when you're pulling this one, the one that you're placing on the right, you'll ask, how does the archetypal energy of this card relate to my soul path or my spirit and the spiritual realm? Look at the stone you've pulled again, hold it in your hands, think about how it relates to the meaning of the card, and then really tune into the energy and ask yourself this question to see what else comes through. Now you may wish to pause here again, and in fact, I highly recommend this, to journal about your insights and keep a record of the in-depth meanings that you uncover for each card in the Major Arcana. I'd like to actually take you through a sample of this process right now so you can see exactly how it all unfolds and comes together to teach you more about each specific card in the Major Arcana. Now, I only recommend doing this with about 1 card a day or maybe 1 just every few days until you've had an opportunity to go through all 22 cards in the Major Arcana. And this way you really get to know each card super intimately with the companionship and support of your crystals. So I've sort of created some sacred space here for myself for this practice. I've created a little crystal grid to place my card into. You're welcome to do that if that's something that you feel drawn to add to this practice. And I've looked through my Major Arcana cards and I've chosen to work with the High Priestess. This is the card that I would like to explore. So I'm going to place this here. So I am going to take my pouch of tumbled stones and hold them over my card, asking to receive the guidance and wisdom that this card has to offer me at this time in my life. Asking the crystals for their assistance, asking my spirit guides for their assistance, asking the universe and spirit to help me uncover the deeper mysteries and wisdom of this card in the Major Arcana. So then I'm going to, without looking at the stones, open the pouch and sort of reach in and draw one out at random while asking the question, how does the energy of this card relate to my body, my physical being, and the physical realm? I'm going to draw out a stone, and here I've pulled Mystic Merlinite, also called Indigo Gabbro. So I'm going to place that in the left position underneath my card. And I'm just going to kind of think about that question for a moment, think about how this relates to the physical. So Mystic Merlinite is a stone of deep journey work. So this might tell me that the way that the High Priestess can work in a reading, or the deeper meaning of the High Priestess in my life as it relates to my physical being, is that this card can help with that inward journey to uncover things related to my physical health and wellness. So because the High Priestess is an energy of this expansion of consciousness, this deeper knowing and deeper wisdom and deeper meaning in the world, this really makes a lot of sense that I have, again, this journey aspect coming through from the energy of the crystal. But here it's telling me that the energy or wisdom of the High Priestess will help me uncover things in my physical health, help me uncover ways that I can work on my own self-healing, that I can take better care of my physical being and my physical body, and ultimately that will help nourish me, that I need to gather this information intuitively, but that this will help nourish my body and lead to greater spiritual growth and development. I need to take care of the vessel first, and I do that through this drawing upon the deep wisdom and journey work of the High Priestess. So next, I'm going to draw my next crystal, and this will help me uncover energies and information related to the emotional or mental realm. And here I've pulled Pyrope Garnet, so deep cherry red garnet. And I'm going to place that in the center. Now, the deep red garnet has a lot to do with root chakra issues, your ability to receive and attract abundance. It has to do with your career, your family life, and your home. And so what this is telling me is that the High Priestess needs to take charge of these things in the physical realm that are cluttering up the mental body, that are cluttering up my mind. So here I have the energy of the High Priestess, and she very much works to control her domain. And so here, my intuition, my messages from my higher self, that connection that I'm looking for, is currently being clouded in the area of my home life, my career, my ability to draw abundance. And so all of these cluttered thoughts of anxiety and worry in the mental aspect and emotional aspect are decreasing my power. Garnet is also a stone of deep power. And so if I can get my head right in these areas, then I can very much pull through and call upon the full power of the High Priestess in my life. Now finally, I'm going to draw one last crystal with the intention of uncovering deeper wisdom from spirit and what this card means in the spiritual realm. And for this last crystal, I've gotten sunstone. So I'm going to place that in the rightmost position. And so now I have all three of my crystals. And so sunstone coming through in that spiritual position is about reclaiming my spiritual power. Sunstone connects to the inner sun, to the home of the inner self, the solar plexus, connection with personal willpower, strength. But in this position of spirit and things in the spiritual realm, it's referring to spiritual power, which is a lot what the High Priestess is about. So this is about embodying the spiritual power and spiritual connection of the High Priestess. So in learning about this card and what this card may mean, I have the body, mind, spirit approach to understanding it more in depth. I hope that sample reading was super instructive and helped you see a little bit about how this process really works. Now, if you'd like a little help getting started and a bit of a head start, you can hop over to my blog at loveandlightschool.com/blog, and you'll see at the bottom of the post that matches this video, there's a section called Major Arcana Tarot Card Meanings. And I actually go through all 22 cards in the Major Arcana and give a few key words about each card and its traditional historical meanings. That's it for this week's video. I hope that you found it inspiring and helpful as you begin to take the next steps on the path to learning the tarot. For more super helpful crystal tips and to learn about all things metaphysical, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Love and Light School, like me on Facebook, and of course, subscribe to me on YouTube. Thanks so much for watching. Again, I'm Ashley Leavy at the Love and Light School. Until I see you next time, many crystal blessings.